Did you didn't, I don't have. You didn't print Sarah's stuff though, did you?
Well, no, you
Did
didn't bring
you,
any?
you didn't, I don't have.
You didn't bring I can give you mine. Okay, you can have mine.
That'd be good. I'm still on vacation.
Mine.
If anybody needs.
I haven't memorized.
You didn't bring yours either?
I haven't memorized.
Oh, there wasn't much on.
That's right.
So nice of you guys. All right, and then, okay, so this is the application. And then we had,
We can share.
oh, you know what? I've got an extra, so we're good.
Okay.
Keep that. And then, the conservation notes go with that. The
Oh.
conservation board. It's in your, that's in your folder.
Oh, they already,
Is it informal or they actually acted on it?
That is. They just did their resolution, but they still see the informal reviews
Okay.
as well.
okay.
Yeah, and they do their own resolutions.
I didn't realize they would do one.
Didn't know they would act on it
Yeah.
informal. That's,
They
All
have,
right. Are
they
we
have
ready?
on Dollar General like 5 times, so
All right.
just let them.
All right. Are we ready to?
go
We're
looking for
ready.
stuff to do.
Okay. Do we see? Nobody's on there.
Nobody's on yet. Okay,
Well, maybe Chuck is vacationing, so.
okay. That's all right.
I spoke to him earlier, and he said that the island he's on in Florida. Is that? Sound fancy, I think. He said that the internet there
It's not.
is sketchy.
Oh,
Cause
okay.
the sun is so bright that it just.
But
hides all the, you know,
When it gets above 85.
can't keep up.
Dad gets to the computer, yeah, it's one of those.
All right, let's get serious now.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see, what time is it? It's about 7:02 on February 25th, 2025. We're beginning our regular planning board meeting. I guess Marjorie, you want to call roll?
I will. Member Moise.
Aye.
Member Wisnowski.
Here, present.
Here. And Deputy Chairman Ast
Here,
and Chairperson Brown.
Here.
Okay.
All right. So I am going to ask with the minutes of December 17th, 2024, are there any comments, changes? Okay, good. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second.
All right. Member Moise.
Aye.
Member Wisnowski.
Aye.
Deputy Chairman Ast
aye.
and Chairperson Brown.
Aye.
Do I not? Oh, I do. Okay.
Who do we? Oh. All right. So tonight we're gonna start with, we were supposed to have our Canna Health and Wellness with a revision to their parking. Does not seem that they're here, so we'll move on to 2025 1P Sarah Ellison for an informal review.
And if you want to come up to the mic. Oh, and actually just,
Is the
if you
mic,
want to just turn it on.
and the reason we need, yeah.
It's right on the top. It should be right on the top. There's a button. Sorry. I didn't, it must be I didn't turn it on. Okay. Yep, you're on. You're live.
So, Ms. Ellison, we received your application for an informal review regarding your property at 7311 West Henrietta Road, regarding subdividing that piece of property. I think the thing that we had gone back and forth on was with respect to some additional information.
So the lot size is big enough to subdivide without requiring a variance, according to John Limbeck, that the area that I'm in, R30 is 3/4 of an acre. The whole lot itself is 1.67 acres. The problem with this self-inflicted problem of mine is that where I built the detached garage kind of obstructs where I would like to put the property line in order to get 3/4 of an acre on that lot. So in speaking with Marjorie, she said it might be best that I come to the informal review hearing so that I could hear some suggestions and recommendations on the best foot forward. In talking to her, I learned that you're not allowed to subdivide and have an accessory structure. So I thought I could just simply draw a line down the center of the property. But that would be the accessory structure on the vacant lot. So I guess my resolution, in staying with the code, is to cut out the garage and leave it with the house for now. And then after the house is built, then I would have to come back and the lot line.
Well, the only, but I'll let you keep going if you have more.
Oh, go ahead.
The only issue with that is, and I think a couple of things that were mentioned before is placement of the new house with respect to wherever that accessory structure would be also.
No, I don't remember having that discussion. So
Well, I guess it's more with what town codes with respect to that house, like the accessory structure can't be in front of wherever the house is.
accessory structure would be behind the proposed house.
And then you have the other codes that need to be met with respect to your setback off of the center line.
I think I meet all of those. The problem was the square footage. And B, not being able to subdivide where I wanted to subdivide. And keeping the detached garage on the vacant lot. So I didn't realize there were any other. I think the house meets the setback requirements. It's going to be placed on the lot, the same place where Barrington is, which is the lot to the south of my property, so.
It's 110 feet off center line.
110 feet off the road. or
Center,
the
road
center
center line.
Okay,
So the state highway falls in that 110 foot.
okay,
There's also an offset to the structure. You can't put the lot line right on the structure. So it's,
so the proposed lot line, instead of running down the center of the driveway, would actually have to be moved over to include I would be excluding that until the house is built, but that really is intended for the house road.
do you have a drawing of showing the proposed
So,
offset that you're talking about?
no, I mean, I have my survey map. And the surveyor had come and talked to the town, but he didn't really think that any field work was necessary until after.
I don't think it's field work that's necessary, but you still should have something to kind of show orientation of things to know that it'll work with respect to.
Okay, so
So this, I haven't seen this.
Scratch drawing.
This, I'll explain.
Please.
I just saw this. So,
That house is not, it's exactly opposite of the farmhouse. It's not 5,000 square feet. It's literally like 31 by 32. So the placement of the house on the lot, I don't think has any restrictions to setback requirements, the 110 feet from the road frontage. I don't think it's big enough to obstruct any of those.
so I guess that's why a drawing, and I think that's what I tried to explain in when I sent the email to you was having something that would show how you would want to split up the property
All of the setbacks,
and all the
like all of
setbacks.
the measurements
So
that,
I didn't wanna come here with that because I thought the reason that I was coming here was to tell you what I wanted to do and you would tell me the right direction to take. So I could come here with a plan, but then my suggestion about drawing the lot line through the center of the driveway wouldn't work because you have that accessory building requirement. So now the lot line can be adjusted and moved.
So
I,
let me just
Just
ask a
need
couple
some-
questions.
yeah.
So do you planning on having shared access to
it'll be,
both houses?
it'll be a shared driveway.
So there's no new driveway?
Nope.
Okay. Wouldn't it make sense just to come back when you're ready to build the house and then do your subdivision and site plan approval at the same time?
I didn't know that I could do that. I thought I needed subdivision approval in order to.
No, I don't see why we couldn't do both at the same time.
Because then if you have the perk tests, if you
Right,
have
because
the structure of the house located.
I think the reason for the ask is because it'll be easier for this board to understand and see conceptually where everything is gonna go. Once you're ready to do both at the same time. It would basically it's a matter of what gets approved first. So that's all that really, it's just a matter of subdivision first and then site plan approval immediately thereafter, but they could be done simultaneously in the same meeting.
Oh, okay. I was of the impression that it was possible that this would not be approved, which means that it would be time and money spent on a site plan map that wouldn't end up getting used.
Well, I guess it depends on who's doing the work, how much you're willing to invest in upfront costs, but
Right.
someone could at least go through the code and say, we can put a house here, it'll have it's in front of the structure. There's 30,000 square foot minimum, we're 110 foot off the center line with our house, the property perks, perk tests are done. We can, put a septic system in, and, you're probably have to file along with the subdivision and easement for shared driveway access.
I work for an attorney's office, so that's the least of my worries.
Yep. So, I mean, that's how I see it, and I don't know if anyone else is.
And then also the new house with respect to the old one, so where the existing septic system is in relationship to that. And I think there's municipal water on this roadway, so that's not an issue,
Sure.
but just. And then making sure that, there's setbacks wherever the house would fall on whatever proposed lot. You're saying right now, you believe that you can fit a 30,000 square foot. Cause that's the minimum size, 30,000 square feet lot. So. That's, seeing that, I can't make, and
this particular plan, we met with Jim a couple weeks ago for the second time. Again, John explained to him that this particular piece, if we could do it, if he could give us the amount of square footage of this particular piece.
Right.
Where we have it just all in the back, and then it would be a continued driveway up to that particular lot to subdivide. If that's 30,000 square feet, that could potentially work. But the problem has been that John says any way that he has kind of configured it, there's an issue. She will have to go to zoning. And then we've talked with Lee, chairman of the zoning board, and he has also given us a few, things to look at and all of that. So I just wanted to kind of update them
Right.
as to this last time. I don't know if that is 30,000 square feet though.
The whole problem lies with the accessory structure. If we
Correct.
didn't have to do a cutout around it
Right.
while we were building the house, then apparently there isn't a variance for that. So
Right.
Right.
doing a cutout of a lot that's less than 30,000 square feet to build a house only to, that the end result is not that the lot will be less than 30,000 square feet. Because I'd have to come back and then move the lot line after the house is built.
Right. Right.
Because now it's not an accessory structure.
I just had a question just for the planning board. So if she does go through and come for the site plan approval for the house, could she have the original lot line with that accessory structure, even though the house isn't actually built there yet, but you have the plans in front of you to build the house? I mean, I just don't want it. So she could go back and move that.
I
lot
guess
line
that's
back
been
to
the
where-
question is how you handle an accessory structure
Yes.
that they want to incorporate with,
Without the house being built there.
without a
Like,
house.
looking at plans for the house
Contemplating
side.
it,
And so that,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking if she could go about it that way and show the plan and move the lot line back with the site plan. And this, when she comes back to it with the house on that subdivided lot. Would it still be okay to kind of approve that subdivision without the house being built there?
As long as it's approved building lot for the intention of that the house will be built.
Correct.
Um,
It's almost a conditional approval that we're approving the site plan and the layout of this lot contingent upon this house being located where it's shown on this plan.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I was just playing around. I drew a line down the middle of your driveway and I came up with 28,000 square feet if you just did a rectangle. So close. So, I mean, so there can, you know, if it was a little bit, you went down the center line of driveway and just a little bit offset. So it looks like it can work.
Right.
So that's why I was thinking is, you know, if you can fit a house.
Driveway situation, I guess it doesn't matter if the driveway, the lot line runs down the center, or if it's completely on one line or the other lot line. As long as there's an agreement in place explaining, you know, who's responsible for what.
And there's a minimum lot width also
Yes,
of 150 feet,
I was
Right.
100, is it 150?
150.
150.
Okay.
But
So-
that's something that if you wanted to, based on the layout, they could seek a variance for, you know, an area variance prior to coming to us potentially. And I'm just trying to think of ways to.
I can safely get 100 feet, but that was with the lot line driving down the center of the driveway. If I move it over, I don't know if I could get 50 more feet, so that might still require a variance. I don't know where I have that it was only 100 feet. But I have an email somewhere that said,
I guess that's kind of the point with working with someone that is familiar with the codes that can see what fits by the code, and if it doesn't, you know, we can't say what variances you can get because we don't
control that.
we don't control that part of it.
and that's kind of why I directed her to come before the planning board with the informal review, just to find out if this was something that she can actually do. Before she goes in, you know, does a whole site plan and subdivision application and then gets the plans drawn up, and then they come back and say that she can't do the subdivision.
So you're saying you want to put the house somewhere here in front of this accessory structure? Is that what
it
I'm,
would be in front of the section accessory structure, it would probably be set back further than the existing house. I kind of saw it as being parallel to the Farrington lot, which is the lot to the south. He's got like a Cape Cod style house with an attached garage that runs perpendicular to the road, and it would be right there.
I can see a house through on this.
This was.
Yeah, I see that. So she's talking about there.
And, you know, he kind of pointed out, but.
Yeah.
Yes, John said
Oh, that
that
just doesn't
that
sound
would
So
work here.
where's the
so
150? Footer?
Even to be a flat.
And does that give her the
So-
setback she
Came
would
over, they
need
came back out.
Yeah,
off of that?
it's too narrow,
So that
So-
they have to seek variance for this piece.
correct.
Yeah.
Which, and I don't,
Yeah.
and if
And then
this
how far is
is
it?
included.
I mean, so we're
with this,
juggling a couple
then
things.
This is.
right? So I don't know whether
So. There's the- We're trying to figure.
I don't have a good.
see.
That's why I was reluctant in, you know, getting the site plan and getting a builder and like, how much time do I invest in this if Rush isn't gonna approve the building lot in the first place?
Well,
I-
because there's a couple things happening here, you know, one, probably see the best fit lot that you can put in there that to the best of its ability meets code. And then what parts don't meet code? I mean, the hard part, like we said, is approving a lot with an accessory structure, but what I'm hearing is that can be a conditional.
Well,
I
I wouldn't want it. I don't necessarily like that, just because again, if it doesn't get built, then we've got bigger issues.
Right.
So I just,
Lead said there was not a variance to temporarily leave that.
that's what we've been
That's-
going back
that's
and
the
forth
issue.
on. So then the other thing would be to look at where else you could place that lot on that property.
I don't know of any other options. The back of the property is kind of landlocked because of the horse farm in the back. And then there's also already a cutout
No, this is
on the
well, so
north
this is
side
the
where that
property
quarter of an acre lot
here.
is.
This is the neighbor.
So it's tricky. And then I thought about maybe putting a driveway in the rear of the, you know, in the north
Her septic. is
west
here.
corner, but then you've got that gas station in there, and how do I gain access to the rear part of the lot?
Right.
So
Here.
it just, this
But
one seems the
it's
simplest
this.
because it was already an existing driveway there, there's already a hedgerow there, on the other side of the driveway. And it kind of looked like the perfect spot for a house. And that also, that part of the yard never gets, it gets mowed, that's pretty much it, nobody spends any time over there because we've got the back.
Right,
The property on the other side of the concrete pad, so.
so I guess the big issue is the accessory structure.
So it sounds like I might need a variance because the lot would be less than 30,000 square feet until after the house is built. And then I would come back and somebody's doing this tonight, what are you calling it?
informal.
Informal
A lot line alteration? Is
Lot
that
line
what that would be?
adjustment.
So after the house is built, would I come back and request the lot?
I would prefer to do it all at the same time, just because we want to make sure that I don't want to create a situation where we've got a lot that's non-conforming, and then if there's not a variance it's sought after the fact or a lot line adjustment, now we are sending nasty grams saying, you know, I would rather do it to Deputy Chairman Hess's point, like if we could do it all kind of subdivision, you know, and then site plan approval at the same time. It's just kind of playing around with the lot to figure out how to structure it to make it, see how we can fit it to make it work.
Cause
So-
what you were talking about is just having a small lot in front of that accessory structure is,
No, it would go all the way to the back lot line, there would just it would be a rectangle, but
Oh.
there would be a cutout for the garage, since it's not, you know, 2 feet there. Which is not what I wanted to do, but.
Sarah, I can totally, get with you as well and just show you what Jim had come up with, at this last meeting.
Okay.
Just because John was kind of directing him as to, we can't do it this way because of this, sticking here or sticking out or halfway through. And so John came up with, the back portion being the complete area. But that would have to, be 30,000 square feet in order for you to not have to go.
I didn't.
Before-
It's basically a flag lot.
Yes.
yeah.
So the question I have is, A flag lot,
It would go up and then over like a flag.
It goes skinny and then.
Yeah.
everything.
I don't think he could, I don't think she could do that though, according to John, just because of the width.
The width
Where
of
the
it.
back part of that barn comes in
Right,
is not wide enough, which is why that was what Jim had come up with.
right.
John kind of maybe, said maybe if you extended your driveway here and then you make just this whole area. So it would basically come right into your driveway. They're still using your driveway, but it would be, but the other thing is where the septic is, because her septic is like right in here.
The septic is by the house, the leach lines run parallel with the concrete pad. That's the
Oh, okay.
problem, that's why I.
That maybe it could drop that.
So-
That's the reason why the garage was built where it was built.
Oh, okay, so that might work too.
Oh,
You're saying
But-
your leach lines are back here? Oh,
granted.
That's what I hate.
So the concrete pad is right there, and then the leach lines are all right there, and
Yeah.
then there's the septic
Mm.
cleanup. so
Oh,
and what's that well I see? Is that just
There's
an
a
old
well
one?
there, and there's a well there. They're not Huey's, but they're there, so I don't know what the purpose of those are for. I mean, original to the house, right? And then.
Probably.
County water came in. Yeah.
so the minimum,
other-
I'm gonna talk to, the minimum lot width is 150, but if it was 100 at the road and then widened out to 150
It
in the
can be
back,
there,
how deep does it have to be a minimum 200 feet?
210 feet.
I believe it's 210.
210.
Okay, so that won't work here. Okay. All right. I'm not seeing a lot of options, especially now with the leach lines. Cause now it's, you want,
This is what I would like to do with it. I don't know if that's what you have, but this is what I would
Yeah.
like to do with it. But first of all, it's only 100 feet.
right,
Right,
And second of all, the accessory structure is.
Yes.
is in it.
We're not able to do a nice clean lot, so.
I don't know. I don't know if you can do this. I don't know if you can do this.
played around with that, but it's just,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Do a little box out.
I came right up in here and then you come over.
I know.
But whatever you do to that is temporary because it'll.
I know, but I think that's where,
That's the hang up.
that's
Yeah.
the hang up
Yeah.
on something that's temporary.
Because it's temporary.
It's temporary is not really, unfortunately, we have to do things in case it's not temporary. It could be intended to be temporary, and then after you get approval, then it's not temporary anymore, and now we got a non-conforming right. And we have recourse, but it's more nasty gram type things as opposed to that collaborative that nobody wants.
We tried, Sarah, we're trying to work with what we
If
got.
it was her original plan, does it meet,
No,
even without, even? with-
no, the original plan, it was only about a little over 100 feet, I believe, on this one here.
Oh, the lot size, I think it was like 28.
28,000, yeah.
No,
she's-
but the width was,
Oh, the width, yeah,
It's over 100.
yeah.
So I think the surveyor said if I brought the property line to the middle of the driveway, it was 100 feet. The total depth is 255. So,
I'm just thinking to your point, where if you went back to the original plan and then came back, but this is what the grant thing is, and then you can do the conditional approval.
But the problem is this doesn't even meet code.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's-
To
that's
which,
the-
You
and,
have to take that to zoning.
right, and
get
And
variance.
really, you have to prove a hardship for having less than 30,000 square feet, unless that's usually on a pre-existing
Yep.
lot. So, I mean, I don't know how helpful we're being by giving you, all the,
yeah, I think Marjorie wanted me to come to the meeting to see if it was worthwhile for me to go to the
Proceed.
planning board meeting. this is all new to me. I've never built a house before, so. I am not trying to be difficult, but it's taking me a while to comprehend.
That's
So,
okay.
especially
That's
since
totally fine.
there's this lot right here to the north.
I
that's
know.
A quarter of an acre, and I'm like, somebody allowed this 80 by 200 foot lot to be there. With this teeny tiny house, and what I'm trying to build on this lot would double.
Yeah.
The size or more, and, you know, would be really nice aesthetically, I think. Pleasing and bring money in, you know, to the town, not that you need it, I don't know how the town of Rush is doing, but I'm, you know, just trying to build a house and I feel like all the snags that we're running into are, like, can be resolved. But I just don't know how to go about doing that, and in the end, there aren't any restrictions, if the frontage needs to be 150 feet, it can be 150 feet, if the lot needs to be 30,000 square feet, we can make that happen too, but the problem is, in the time being, while I'm trying to get approval and while I'm trying to build a house, this garage is restricting us from being able to, you know, follow the town codes. So is there a workaround, or is it just not?
Well, I think, you know, I'm just looking at some of the dimensions, so it's 99 across the full frontage. It looks like it's 99 and 194.27. Is that?
Yeah.
So
93.
it's just under, not to be, I'm doing math, it's just under 300 feet. So, I mean, I would think the lot remaining still has to meet, they both have to be 150 feet
So
wide.
that was another quick thing too, that, in my talking with the chairman of zoning, he said there's also, if you do split this property, the subdivision, they're gonna start looking at this house that's existing,
That
and
meets,
that will have to meet code
That's
as
what-
well.
that's what I'm bringing up, is
Yeah.
that, you know, it's not just your new one has to meet code, it's then the one remaining.
Yes.
Lot that have less than 150.
Correct.
Right.
Feet frontage.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, and there is a variance for that, or there is not a variance?
You would have to potentially go and get variances, probably for the setbacks, because it was probably done prior to the zoning code, prior to, that's what,
I don't know the age of the
I
structure.
don't
but I'm
know the
assuming
age
it's
of these,
probably-
but
Yeah, but right now,
standard,
it looks like for the most part, except maybe and I don't know what the offset from center line is, probably most,
It's only about 70.
so that, okay, so that's,
When I was reviewing center line, offsets, setbacks, that was one of the houses I looked at.
So
Right.
the existing house from the street is only 33 feet,
Off the property line,
yes.
and you're
and
probably
then-
about 40 feet off center line, so it's a total of about 75 feet.
Oh.
but that's a pre-existing condition.
That drop, that's not, that could be.
Right.
work.
but it would just have to be another
Sure.
variance
Yeah.
that she would have to get approved for. So in the grand scheme of things, depending on, you know, what you come up with, will depend on how many variances you're going to have to get, and that's expensive. So that's, you know, that was my purpose of having you do this, and just to see, and I think if we, you know, if we can maybe get back with Jim, your surveyor, and he can get us, you know, some code that, or, you know, some lot that, you know, abides by the town codes, that will, you know, curb some of that zoning cost. But it's just a matter of trying to get it to meet code. Cause it's not guaranteed that you will get the variances. That's the only thing.
So the possible, you have 150 by 150 foot wide, leaving the 140 feet.
Well, yeah, that probably would
And
be
have
a
a-
variance
have a
and
variance
maybe,
for that.
but again, I can't say, I mean, they could try and do that. But then how do you handle this,
Well, then you have,
the accessory
then you have the
structure?
house
I'm
already.
sorry, I don't mean to be side talking.
Absorbing.
Oh,
So what I'm looking at is if you cut out the 150-foot wide piece and run that all the way back, it runs right through your leach field. But then it also leaves 143 feet in front of the existing house. So that would require a variance for which something was done over on East River, wasn't that right across from the firehouse? There was a
Was there a subdivision there from the Ted Krentzer's old farmhouse and then this?
yeah, they broke off the two houses and they had a property line went 5 feet right from the side of the garage,
Yeah,
which I thought was too small, but it was approved. And I thought that he wanted an easement or a right of way to go back to the field, even though he had one on the railroad. But I thought that was approved with a minimum of
I'm
substandard.
familiar with the property, but not sure of any.
We could always go back and take a look at
Yeah,
that too.
so I guess if I'm trying to, you know, see if there's any solutions. As Margie was saying, there still requires variances, which that's the unknown, whether they will be granted, but I would think you could get some sort of preliminary
Yeah,
view.
We could do an informal review with the ZBA to talk through it and see, at least
Yeah.
get engaged. Well, I've had,
We don't have an application for that.
I've had people that would request just a meeting.
Just a meeting,
Just to
Just a
talk about,
discussion like
yes,
this.
prior to submitting an application, I've done things where I've had, like, I would encourage people to have a meeting with. Certainly not the entire board, because you can't do that, but maybe the head of the zoning board and, Marjorie or somebody, just to talk about conceptually. Have you seen this before, even just to get a gauge as to whether or not it may be possible? It's just a purely less informal than this. It's just a meeting just to say. Just want to get an idea of if I'm even in the right, playing the right sport, so to speak.
Yeah.
Before you commit things to paper, that may be a possibility as well.
I guess what we've pointed out is the obstacles right now
Yes.
with respect to the code. And being able to, I mean, you almost need your surveyor or your engineer or whoever doing some sort of layout that best fits and can meet as much code as
Right, it's almost what is the, ABC design, like this would be the ideal, it's the fewest setbacks or fewest variances required. That's one model, and just try to figure out what makes the most sense and what is attainable and what's not. But it would be helpful to have that sort of planning done, just so that it's easier for us to not talk about it in a vacuum, but see something at least preliminarily on paper. Again, not trying to spend your money, because again, it totally, but it's just, it would help in this process of that. Because we're gonna have to do some coordination between two boards as far as what variances are gonna be needed. Is this even possible? Like, just to kind of get a working plan, if you will.
So the zoning board would be responsible for variances?
Yes.
Yes.
And they would want to see something more than what I brought today.
Yeah.
Yep.
A site plan or something from a
Pretty-
surveyor?
Yes, I mean, you're gonna need a site plan, because you're gonna have to get the zoning board to sign off on the variance request before it can come before this board, because we need to see that, okay, so you don't meet code in these two areas, just throwing out an example. But the zoning board has already said that these two areas are fine from their perspective, as long as we're comfortable with it. So that's step one. Step two would be this board to say, okay, you've got a variance for these, so now we can actually review the site plan, because we know we don't have to worry about the variance issues. And again, it's not the ideal to have to kind of go through that planning stage, but in order to kind of figure out, see if this fits and how to, you know, configure it, I think that would be probably your best bet.
I mean, because, and then, I mean, bigger picture is, say we can figure out a lot. Then you have to see where the house is gonna fit on the lot. Where all the amenities are gonna have to fit, like septic system.
Right.
And if they fit based on code and where they have to be in relationship to everything. So that's why it's good to try and get the lot laid out, and then also tentatively look at, okay, now I'm gonna put this size house on here. My driveway's gonna be here. My septic system is gonna be over here. So all of it's like putting a lot up front. But in the long run, if that's really what you want to do,
Right.
I mean, the hard part is sometimes with things like this, you know, I'll go back to, you know, my days at DOT when we're looking at alternatives for different things. And sometimes it comes down to the null alternative that you can't, it doesn't fit. So I don't know whether, but maybe there's another option out there that you can work around.
Is that barn in good condition? I don't, I'm not.
It's like brand new.
Yeah.
Never mind. Disregard the last 5 seconds. Moving on.
I think we can just pick it up and move it, yeah.
Attention.
I think we run into, that's a brilliant suggestion, but I think we run into a setback restriction. The side, well, that would be a variance.
Side setback.
Which we need anyway.
It-
Yes, what's the-
You're gonna need one, so maybe. It may be an easier. Setback to obtain, potentially,
Right. Right.
but that's why I think the engineering would kind of help.
Look at all those options.
Yeah.
The house on,
Get to that.
You're welcome.
5 Points right by number 6, didn't that have it off, a separate garage, then they tied it in?
A breezeway.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come right out and say that, but I was like, that's what was kind of dropping through my mind. I'm like,
I guess what I'm thinking, I don't know if this is helpful or not, is if you could do a conforming lot for your new build. So meet the code on the width, 150 feet. Have a house, septic system or layout, make sure everything fits. Within put the setbacks. So I guess this is a 100 scale drawing. I'd blow it up to 11 by 17 piece of paper with a 50 scale. Okay.
Yeah.
So if it were me, I would see if we could, cut it in half, have 150 foot on your new lot, see if a house will fit there with the existing structure. The idea then is to do subdivision and site plan approval all at the same time. But prior to that, you're gonna have a non-conforming parcel with your existing house.
Yeah.
So, and you possibly have to move the septic, the leach field because your property line is gonna go right down the middle of your,
What is the setback for that?
well,
I don't think that runs the entire length of the pad.
okay, so that just needs to be shown.
What is that?
As far as what?
The setback for the leach field?
Off the side property line?
I'd have to look it up.
Is it-
It's on that magnet.
What
We'd have to
was-
look it up.
I would-
Generally, the side setback was supposed to, everything was supposed to be within that limit, so 25 feet is the side setback, and the rear setback.
I mean, that's for building in residential is 25 feet
Right.
off of the side, so.
Talk amongst yourselves, sir.
So
They
if,
took the
Our theory.
concrete part, but I do know that it ends before the end of the concrete pad, so I think we're clear there. But the problem is that the frontage obviously isn't 300 feet, so no matter where I put that lot line, one of the lots is not gonna be on.
is that a relatively new leach field?
It was there when I bought the house.
Okay.
So I'm not
Okay.
sure.
So depending on the configuration, you know, it could be modified
Okay.
to, you know, you cut it off here and you add it over here. Is a possibility. I don't know what the
Okay.
configuration is, but, so you'd have to kind of take a look at that. Where are the drop boxes? Where are the structures that these leach lines tie into? It's, I guess that's, so if it were possible, meeting with the zoning board and saying, you know, can we get a variance for the lot width at the frontage, the setback, and, I don't know, if you're still gonna use a shared driveway, you may have to relocate the driveway.
I was going to make it a shared driveway so that I didn't have to. Driveway.
Understood, but now if you're 200, if you're 150 feet, now your driveway is 50 feet on the
Yeah,
new property, so I
that's what
suppose you could,
That's what I was saying is depending on, originally it was right down the center of the driveway, but as long as there's an agreement in place, I guess it could be on one lot or the other. But there would be an agreement in place that both parties are allowed to use it and maintain it.
If you have it'd be like any other easement, it would have to be a formal ingress and egress easement, it could be on one lot that services the other, that's not wholly uncommon. Certainly would have to get recorded in the clerk's office at the permanent easement and. Yeah, okay, if that would work, because again, as long as it's a permanent ingress and egress easement, you have right to improve it and maintain it. And you always have access, no matter who owns either lot, then that would.
so those are just some ideas for you to look at.
Okay.
Try to see if it can make it work. Maybe that's all we can do.
Okay.
It's just a tough situation.
So. I'm sorry.
Which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
Is that,
That's,
that's because that's kind of the hard part, I mean.
and then the only other thing is I don't know what your, I know you were expecting to kind of come to the planning board, go to the zoning board and, do everything quickly. It's now going to get pushed out a little bit for zoning.
It's not really a quick thing, it was.
Okay.
The order of things that I wanted to make sure I was doing correctly.
Okay,
So.
Okay.
And I think you answered that for me in informal review, and then obviously we know there's at least one variance that will need it, if not
Yeah.
more, depending on, but that would be my next meeting.
I would think.
Yes, I
that's
think I would
probably-
meet with your engineer or surveyor to kind of start
Yes.
laying some things out, just to get some concepts together.
Okay.
And then I think I would meet with the, some individuals on the zoning board that can kind of give you some guidance as to. If, based on their experience, if one variance may be easier or readily obtainable than another. That may help depict option A, B, or C, which one makes the most sense, right, kind of configuration wise. But that would be my recommendation, kind of figure that out, then potentially go before the zoning board of appeals. Obtain the variances that are necessary so that when this board comes before this board, it's kind of subdivision site plan. One right after the other, but we've got the variants have already been obtained or in place to make it so this board can take action. Without referring you back. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We don't want you to come before us for a site plan and say, oh, okay, well, here's what we can approve, but you gotta go get this first. We're trying to. Get the layout done. As close to conformity as a code as possible and path of least resistance, whatever that looks like. Go before the ZBA, get the variances and then come before this board for a subdivision site plan. kind of in one file serve. I mean, to the extent that works.
So it would also be nice if there's any mature trees or anything that would be in the way or not to be removed. At the top, I think you just maybe don't really need that, but I would do 50 scale. I would get the setbacks drawn on that. Just to see where everything falls and the whole property slopes from back to front downhill.
Down towards the road.
Yeah, does it? I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Down towards the road. Yeah.
Okay, that's,
You drive up the driveway.
yeah, that's what I thought that everything kind of, so, that's not, I guess that's not really, the grading's not really too much of an issue, just a matter of where things are gonna fit and what size house you want. So, that. I hope that's helpful.
Very,
Okay.
very. Yeah, you answered a lot of questions, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up that much of your time.
No, that's all right.
Yeah,
It's
but-
best to do it now before you. I mean, now you can talk to your surveyor if that's who's doing it for you or helping you with it and.
Right.
Knowing what you're trying to work through. I mean, if there's other questions, I mean, you can always email questions or call. I think John Limbeck has helped a lot with code
He's
questions.
the code guru. I mean, him and the chairman of the ZBA, they talk code all the time and I am just sit there and listen. You know, I don't know them by heart, but definitely they can give you any, little tidbits that you might need. Then definitely you can reach out to me. I'm here, so I can help field your questions too if you need me to. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Helpful.
Okay. Marjorie, you can have this stuff back.
What's that? Oh,
That's yours.
the extras. Thank you, sir.
All right, so now we have new business, just, I guess Marjorie, you've gotten these two new applications. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
nice to meet you. Yes.
Afghan Empowerment and Development Community of Rochester Special Permit.
Yes. And that is a property over in High Tech
Trading.
Park. And it sounds like they're looking to, I don't know if that's the one that's for sale over there. They do have there is a property for sale over there, but,
There's several properties for sale.
are they? And so they are looking to have established like a business out of the building as offices, administrative offices. For not for profit business.
So assuming it's over the hill, down on the right as you're entering
Is it
from,
the one that sits like way back?
it looks like it's on the curve.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
'Cause
That was close. So it is an existing site. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of sits backward.
It's just, so it's already been developed just for sale and they're on a repurposing.
I believe it's for sale, yeah.
Okay.
And what was the existing building used for?
I don't know, it's in light industrial, so I'm not fully sure what it used to be. I can look it up. See.
Products,
What was
What
it?
was it?
Forbes products.
Forbes Products, whatever that is, I have no idea. And they need a special permit because of
I guess because it's in light industrial, so they're looking to do more of a commercial practice out of there. That's my understanding.
Looks like they're a not-for-profit.
So did we change that commercial percentage in, that's the,
Well, we don't, that's the percentage we don't know.
oh, we don't know that?
Is-
not- it's not
There's a
5%.
certain percentage of the light industrial that can be used as not light
Light
industrial.
industrial.
And
I thought it was 5% commercial.
I believe it was increased when we updated to light industrial
Okay.
code. And what we, I guess we don't know offhand right now is what percentage is current.
that's what, that was,
That's,
You know.
That's
sure
the-
answer.
I think.
That's the
it-
rub.
That's the thing is, I think, and technically, the planning board is supposed to maintain
Sort of.
some sort of record of the light industrial and
How
which
much
part
is-
is not light industrial. I don't know if we can say we know what that number is.
I'm pretty sure that this development is under that number, so we're just gonna go with it.
Well, now we can start keeping a list, though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I know that with, with the old code, we were close. And that's why we increased it.
Oh, that percentage.
Yeah.
And how did you know you were close?
Because there was an application that came in. I think it was the dance studio.
Yeah.
Remember that one, Carl? And I think that when we had looked at it, there was a question whether how to evaluate what the percentage was. Was it the actual structure or was it the whole size of the lot? So there was a lot of questions that we were trying to figure out, but between the dentist's office.
I was gonna say,
And, the dentist's office and then the dance studio, I think that was the only two that didn't conform to the.
wasn't there a doctor's office, medical?
Dentist office now,
Oh, okay.
it was a doctor's office, the very
Okay.
first one.
Yes.
That switched to a dentist's office, so
Uh,
there were those two
yeah, that's
businesses. and
probably, yeah.
I believe Scott at the time said that those, we were right there, but we said that we weren't at that limit yet, and that's how the dance studio at the time got approved to still operate out of there.
He was
So
like
then
this skirted
there
under.
was an increase in the new code that was proposed by the code committee for the limited industrial.
So what did you determine was the thing that added to the square footage, just the building or?
I would have to look at that closer, because I don't recall that there actually was a definition of
Yeah, I'm looking now, I'm not seeing.
what the actual.
I wouldn't think you'd want to include the entire lot.
I don't think so either, and I think that was kind of their interpretation was because for especially, I believe that dance studio. Application, it wasn't the whole building, because there was
Right.
other businesses in that building, so then. It was, I think, determined that they went off the square footage of the building being used and not the whole lot size.
So. Do we ask them how big their, or do we know how big their building is? In this. It shows it on the last page. It gives.
So this is 1-story frame. Does it? I don't know. Oh, there is a cellar entry on it.
Building size 84.
Okay.
I guess that's probably something that would be good to have for the application, right? The size of the building.
So that square footage must include the bottom.
What one are you looking at, Marju?
I'm just looking at the, on High Tech Drive there, the actual building. Phyllis said that it's about 8440 square feet,
That's what the commercial listing says.
so
Oh.
I'm curious if
Says-
that's gotta include the bottom.
2 floor, open office space.
Yeah,
private office, conference room.
It looks to be about 60 by 70, so
Yeah.
that's-
yeah,
Yeah,
it's gotta be both. I think the 2 floors are the main floor and then the basement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because it's up, I mean, there's the bottom floor is right on parking area and then yeah, so.
It's a-
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, must be.
But then it also says building can be doubled in size.
Hmm.
I'd like to know what the listing agent thinks about that, or means by that.
Yeah, exactly, because it's already.
So I go back to my original question, should, as part of this, do we just look that up or should it be part of what we're looking at on an application? Having that total square footage that they're gonna use? Like, are they gonna use the whole building? Are they only gonna use
Right.
part of the building?
Yeah.
So,
I think that would be helpful in the application so that we can.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, especially if this board's supposed to be tasked somehow with keeping track of the
Right.
percentages, we're gonna need to have a way to.
I mean,
way
it's
to-
not a huge thing, and again, it doesn't say whether they're using the whole building, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. Just that there will be approximately 5 to 10 in staff and volunteers to administer the center. But it doesn't say if they're gonna use the whole building for that. Actually, hold on, because there is a special permit supplemental, and it says. At most times, it's anticipated that no more than approximately 55 individuals will be on site at a given time. So. No, if they're planning on using the whole thing. It sounds like that would probably be more so including the whole building. For
And then,
55
so then what
individuals.
is the existing parking there then too?
60 spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw,
It's got-
I see that on there, so do they need all of them or?
Double, yeah, so it's that, yeah, that's where the 84, yeah.
So Marjorie, do we send these questions to them now? or-
Well, that's what I'm wondering, I probably should,
Yes, I think we should get clarification as to how much of the what's the square footage of the building that you're gonna be occupying.
okay. All right, square footage of building. Okay. All right, so are you guys going to figure out then what that 5%?
Well, I guess
Is
I
or-
gotta look up the new code and see what the new percentage is for that light industrial.
Okay,
That hasn't been done.
Hmm?
Is that,
That was all.
we did the light industrial?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, light industrials.
Okay, sorry,
Is it
I
filed?
was thinking mixed.
You should have been, yeah, that was, yeah, mixed, yeah.
The mixed use name is done, the light use,
The
the,
mixed use is done also, but we had to amend the map.
right, and then the light industrial was,
Yeah, it was the first one we did.
okay, that was one I didn't do, that's why, that's
Okay,
what I
light-
meant,
okay, light
sorry.
Industrial was.
Okay.
done.
I kept
Okay.
thinking it was the one that we were doing, no,
Light
that's,
Industrial was
never
the
mind,
first one we
Nope.
did.
never mind, I'm sorry, I'm confusing my codes, I was like, right, but it's commercial, sorry.
Is it commercial?
What's that?
Is it commercial, a not-for-profit organization? Community communication unity, it's a meeting space, cultural events and religious events.
Administrative offices.
well, it says uses permitted in commercial districts, and then they have in parentheses club, nonprofit business.
Okay.
That's under 120A, 2A. Uses permitted in commercial districts.
Okay.
I think that would be good. Hmm? Yeah.
You.
What can I say?
Well, they didn't quite hear that. I'm just kidding.
All right, so you're gonna send something to ask some additional questions on that, and then
I will.
I'll confirm what I just tried to do a search on light industrial and I'm
It's
Uh-oh.
limited industrial.
Especially on your phone, that's way.
limited, thank you,
Limited,
limited.
that's why.
Limited,
That's why
okay.
I'm using the wrong.
Well, they used, well, actually, isn't that on the special permit? That might be something that needs
It's
to be
limited
changed.
industrial
Oh,
district.
it's limited industrial on here, yeah. Okay.
Which falls under 12015.
Okay. Oh, yep. It's right there on their
And
application.
then. Permitted uses, light, not light. So this would from,
Like they're very similar to Catholic Charities and Catholic Family Services. With what they're doing.
it sounded like it.
Yeah, that's the description that Channel 8 did in depth on. So it really is like. The one thing I would ask though, is there going to be housing for refugees temporary? So to speak, I don't know.
In that building?
Yeah, I would ask that,
Any sort of, I mean, if it's gonna
Yeah.
be used as housing of any kind, it's a
Yeah.
totally different.
but if it's, they're.
I don't think they described that in their, I mean, we can ask them, but it didn't appear that was in their description of what they were going to.
I think they said
Education.
they're,
Right, education, cultural,
yeah, I think they said too, something, maybe not.
I mean,
About, like days. Hours,
Like
maybe
day
not though.
programs.
yeah. They'll
I
promote,
mean, there could be a condition that we put on there that it can't be used for any,
It can't be. used for any sort of
Overnight.
Overnight,
yeah,
residents or, transient, occupancy or anything like that.
yeah, sounds like they're gonna be, helping, to get them jobs, hosting events and attracting visitors.
Uses in 12012, which is.
Oh, yeah, proposed specific uses by the AEDC will be administrative office uses, use of the site as a gather place for events, small scale educational and other community meeting space, cultural events and religious events.
yeah. But we can just. Okay, anything else? On this, or you moved on to the second one? Carl's moved on to, Carl's on to the second one.
Russian.
You know, don't.
I get it.
Thanks, that's all right.
So
Carl.
sorry, I get it. Keeping the train on time.
We got places.
All
to
right,
be.
so Marjorie, you'll do that, right?
Yes, yep,
And then-
I have it noted. I will find out and I will let everyone know.
Okay, so our next one is 2025 3P Costitch Engineering for Nancy Hughes lot line alteration. 1215. Telephone call.
So the only thing that, John and I looked at this real quick this week, and the only thing that he found that might possibly need to be, reiterated, to the applicant was that with this one-story metal building hanging out in this,
Aaron,
is hanging out in the
I
back
see that
area
one.
there of lot 2. With the proposed new lot line, the dotted line, that might be too close to that lot line.
The dotted line is not the proposed. The dotted line is existing.
The new dots?
Yeah, the solid lines are the proposed. They want to shrink, lot one and lot two.
Guess we should have read the legend, huh?
So but the lot R2 is less than 3/4 of an acre.
Oh, okay.
But they're trying to get away with it by saying it's 0.815 acres to the center line.
Oh,
Oh, I see that.
yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So
so now we got another thing. It's not,
Now, instead of reaching out to them about the building, we
we can
reach
just
out
talk
to
to the
them
town,
about.
talk to the town surveyor. And, oh wait, we don't have one. Sorry.
Oh,
Town engineer, close.
Well, this is actually because I have both on my property, to center line and to right away line. So both the older county roads were actually this has always been a dispute or an issue. We only tax, what's that?
A question.
Question. That we only tax to the property line, however, do they own to the center line?
oh. See, now, in the town of West Bloomfield, we've been looking into putting up a detached garage. And ours, our survey, our house was built in 2011, so it shows the property line, but it does not show to the center line. And if you go in their town code, there is nothing that says where that mark has to be, if it's to the center line or to the property line or to the right of way. And it's just like, okay, that would be helpful to know.
Yeah.
you know?
So anyway, but that's, so
these
that,
are odd lot lines.
they are very odd.
I'm not
So
really
this is
fully
the
sure.
existing,
That's the way I'm seeing this. This lot one is 2.6 acres.
is this whole thing, right?
Right.
And now they want to draw this line because they want to be able to have access.
To the middle building.
Okay, so
And can we have? Oh, is it, or is it not considered because this is all part of this?
This is all part of it.
So
So,
I guess I'm confused what the existing is. The existing is this dotted line, right?
the former parcel line is the dotted line.
Yeah, we don't like these people anymore, so we're gonna make the property smaller.
I'm trying to figure out why they're doing it.
Okay, hold
That's
on.
all I'm trying to figure out by looking at it. And maybe it's not my,
it says.
does
the
it say in
adjustment-
here?
The adjustment will increase the size of lot one by 0.847 acres and reduce the size of lot two by 0.138 acres and lot three by 0.709 acres. No new improvements are proposed. So whether they just don't want to take care of all of it, maybe the people on lot two. So it can't be that small then?
Here's the existing.
Well, increase,
They're increasing lot one,
So this is the existing.
but if it's
yeah.
So they're cutting that off. And they're,
this
and they're-
is the
So
existing.
how does it make lot
supposedly.
one bigger?
Right.
They're making, how are they making that big?
Am I doing
Oh, I
math
don't know.
That
wrong?
doesn't make.
No,
any
no,
sense.
the description.
Lot one bigger,
Lot-
because they're adding this leg into the
Yes.
lot one, the
Lot-
dotted line.
Yeah.
going this
But I
way.
thought that was the format.
Lot
I
three,
thought in the legend, it looked like the dotted
lot
line
three
was
is
the.
bigger.
On this one, it says the red lines are the proposed project.
See,
That's what,
Oh,
okay, so then
That's
the,
inconsistent with this though.
No,
So-
that follows that.
Does it?
Well, I don't know, the legend might be wrong, but if, on the one I'm looking at, it says the proposed project is the red line.
that's what,
And then if you follow those dotted lines, that's the.
that's the proposed. That makes more sense to
So
me.
you're adding.
that's why,
Yeah,
okay, so,
full.
so we're back to the, okay, so we read it right,
you read it
It's-
right. I read it wrong.
but the key's wrong
So the key's
though.
wrong.
It's not,
The key is wrong.
it's
I'm
not
just going
either
off,
of our
I'm just going off of
fault.
the legend on Nick.
I'm thinking the key on this is wrong. It's the
Yes.
way you,
Yes,
But, yeah,
because this is supposedly the new.
I looked at it like an engineer.
Yeah.
So the dotted line is the proposed,
Never
the
used to
solid
be.
line is the
you
existing.
can't bring your skill set into this room. Just leave it.
So, well, because usually your proposed is always your heavier line.
That's what I would assume, yeah.
What?
It's true, it's true. That's why I messed up.
That's why,
Engineers do, okay.
so,
This
okay,
makes more sense. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
more sense. Okay.
So this, okay, so the, yeah, okay, that's what.
but I see what you're saying. There's a dot up in the line legend, up in
I
the
was
line.
just looking at this and I went,
Wrong,
that says proposed. but when I
Okay.
Look at that.
yeah, yeah, it's wrong. The
Okay,
line legend is
Okay,
wrong.
So they're actually increasing sizes of lots.
Okay, so now
Okay,
that,
so
now
one-story metal building will have to be checked then
for offsets,
to that.
because
point.
where's your handy little scale there, Carl?
Architectural scale. Oh my God, look at how tiny it is. It's like a
I
travel.
love
size.
it. I got one like this too, but I don't bring mine out into public.
He can sit with them wherever we go.
I can't be seen with it.
Location, where is, oh, there's
Most
there's a
architectural
scale right.
I've ever seen.
Oh, Carl, look at this.
Can you read
It's
that?
like a 60 scale. What the heck? So now I gotta double my 30. He's
I do.
I have a 60 scale at home.
A normal one, you mean? Like a
So
normal
so like
size?
from the new lot line to the one corner of the barn is,
This is architectural
It-
scale.
I think it's probably, because what do we need, 25 feet?
Yeah, 25 feet.
Yeah, so it looks like right now it's
So Arthur,
28 feet. To that, from the lot line to the new lot line to
to that
the,
corner.
to the corner closest on it, yeah.
Okay.
What's this?
And then it's about 18 doubled is 36 feet, so
Oh, no, this is for the 500 foot.
you wanna measure, wanna check me? It's, I used the 30 and I doubled.
All the people.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of people for that space.
I have a 60,
It'll give me something to do next.
yeah, 20, 26, 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they got 25 feet.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right,
Well, according to Carl's scale.
all right.
All right, so this metal story building is going with this 1-story frame house.
Yes,
house,
the
yes.
big
Big one, yeah,
property.
the big over here.
Yep,
And then what's left on
which
this?
isn't that
What's
bizarre.
left on this smaller lot?
Looks like a single family residence. Is that-
1-story brick
Well, and they're
house.
expanding it in the back, right?
Yeah, they're bumping out the back.
Yeah, they're
They
making
said
that.
They were making it smaller. That one was being made smaller.
No, I was wrong.
But that's
Oh, the way
what
they
they're
wrote
saying
it?
in the application.
Huh.
Is it getting more narrow?
Reduce.
No,
Like
because
it's
that's their
getting out
driveway.
here.
No, I was wondering if it's getting.
So
more narrow.
Marjorie, the question we're gonna ask them, can they verify what are their
What the hell
real
are they
lot?
doing?
What are their real lot lines?
Yes, I can ask. I will. Follow
Cause if
up.
you read this, the one's getting bigger and the one's getting smaller, right? Is that what we're reading?
Two are getting smaller. So the big.
Well, I
one-
believe the big one is
The
getting
big
smaller.
one's getting smaller, and lot 2, it says, is getting smaller, according to this. It says, and reduce the size of lot 2 by 0.138 acres. I mean, we're talking very little.
3 by 0.7.
Yeah,
So,
Looks like this one's getting,
so then.
this is supposed to be coming in here. I know, but that's what this looks like. This looks like it's from here
it
in.
looks like it's.
It
But
looks like
this
the
is-
metal
this
building
this
has
is-
Looks like, yeah,
access.
that's what they're actually doing,
easement,
right?
40 foot. Access
project,
to Lat Tree.
project parcels. Oh,
Oh,
wait,
off of that driveway.
well,
Yeah.
project
Project
parcels.
parcels.
But it doesn't say that they're
Do they have to file that
These are the
easement
the
first?
lot. You think
already
that is,
filed.
so
Oh.
Like
the,
that.
this
Okay.
is right,
Good.
yeah, the
I-
legend is. right. I don't either.
But it wouldn't make sense for this getting bigger.
Right.
I would just have
Oh,
them,
right,
have Costitch Engineering look
They
at
got
their line
clarify this
legend.
because-
okay,
Small amount of clarification.
Yeah, right? Which one is bigger? Which one's smaller?
can you start over?
And then, can I ask this question also is, do we have a question, Carl, you brought up about the measurement of the lot to the total lot, like looking at lot two,
Right. with
like
the
they
to the
show-
center line,
they
it
show the
says-
acreage to the center line. It's below.
Well, existing lot R2, which apparently is the existing size. It is below that threshold of the three quarters acre.
What do you get, Steve?
Right.
So now they're gonna add to the back,
They are,
According to GIS.
but they're
okay,
That would make sense.
so they are, so the legend's right, the dotted lines
Legends.
are, but it says that lot one is supposed to get larger. Which does not read correctly
No.
then,
No,
One's getting smaller, lot two's getting smaller,
they're all getting
three
smaller.
is getting bigger.
Bigger. Oh, okay. So maybe they got lot one no, because it still says that lot three. Yeah, maybe.
it says
I-
right here, and reduce the size of lot two by 0.138 acres.
Right. Which would make sense, because the dotted lines would take that property inward to make it smaller. But the lot one, unless they're confusing
they-
lot one
I
with
think
lot
they
three.
confused lot one and lot three here, in
Right.
this, in the text, I
Right.
think I think
It's
lot one and
wrong.
lot three are in reverse.
I think so. I will figure it out. I will.
If we're saying the
contact
Oh, I
Match is
think,
fine.
because lot one, it says, right now it's saying the adjustment will increase the size of lot one, which don't we agree that's what they're doing?
Not if we're saying that not if we're saying that the red is the existing and this is the proposed, lot one's getting smaller.
Okay,
So I think that's where they goofed up.
That red line follows that dotted line on this one, doesn't it?
Right, but we think that what you're looking at over to the left, those are the actual lot lines now. Steve looked it up.
I think it's existing right now.
Yeah,
I think this
Steve
is what
looked
it
it up.
is right
You-
now.
GIS.
It's smaller.
has it like this existing.
oh, okay,
yeah.
all right,
Thanks.
GIS shows
so
that,
this
that
is
it's-
existing,
yeah.
Here.
so it's
So-
just their writing,
I think they screwed up. the writing.
all right,
I
I'm
don't
very
know.
confused.
So,
If you knew what my head was into today, this is like,
That's not
tired,
fine.
we all just need to go home.
all right.
All right, but do you,
Are you gonna have them correct this so that we have a full understanding
Uh-huh.
of what we're looking at?
I have a big question mark.
Okay,
What would that be?
and then
But
what all? Is this something, does the conservation board look at these too?
yes. Yes,
So we need all the board approvals.
they look at everything, yeah. And I might just send, the conservation one to Sarah, just so she has it, a copy of it, because we didn't read it.
And
But if she comes
you're
back.
changing topics on me right now, I'm
Oh,
talking.
sorry. Oh, okay. But yes, these two, yes, yes,
Okay,
they will go before conservation next.
okay.
Yeah.
And anybody else?
Does
Does the lot lines, it's pretty much just us in conservation? Cause there isn't any other changes.
No, the only other board zoning, so.
Okay, so it's getting kind of late, but I sent you guys the new improved or what we're, looking to have approved,
It doesn't.
go to the town board, the new codes for 12069 and special permits. Did you get a chance, anybody get a chance to read through or?
I did not. Once I saw on the agenda that it was new business or next,
I wanted you guys to be aware of what's going on. If you got,
yeah, no,
Scott, you know what? Scott Strock spends a lot of time. You can see all his information he's got there
Oh, yeah.
for you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's extremely
yeah, the
helpful and
greener comments, right?
greener comments. It's kind of how he came up with, and I shouldn't say just he, because it's the code committee. So everybody gives input on wording and, best fit for us.
Yeah.
But he felt since this was probably two of the key ones that we use is to take a look at it and, if you had any comments, I meet with them, we're meeting, the code committee's meeting Thursday.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
So what I can say is, if you can, take a read through on this. It's,
Will be.
Yeah, and then we can figure out, who changes. I know, I thought that the changes usually are made to the applications by the planning board. And then I just put them online, but I don't know how we're gonna work that.
meaning as part of this.
They are the ones responsible for their applications.
So we
If there's-
just talking
if
about the
there's
special permit
updates
application
To
or
the
code?
application itself, or is it just the,
If we're changing the code, the special use or special permit requirements under the code, that's full local law, that's town board action.
Yeah.
If we're changing the application,
I think that's what this is, right? This
I
is
didn't get a
changes.
copy, that's why I'm trying to.
Oh, this is,
Yeah.
this is.
Well,
changes to the code.
we'll get,
Okay. If it
Yeah,
changes,
forward
code
it.
changes the code, that'll go before.
Take,
yeah.
I'm gonna steal.
I think all this does is outline the process. It's not, I don't think we're changing.
I think.
I guess I'm confused.
Oh.
Got it. I stole it.
No, these would be changes to the code. They'd have to go approved by the town board.
I think what,
Yeah, that was me.
This looks like formal proposed, because the red, I believe, is the new text. Either additions or omissions from the existing code. So this is chapter one, section 120 1-169. I
yeah,
think these are proposed revisions to that section.
yes,
This will go before the
Oh, town
town
board.
the
board.
town board for
Okay.
their review.
I mean, certainly we can,
What we're supposed to do is I don't think I think it just defines everything that we do.
Mhm.
And then-
It's changes to the code, so it has to go for approval.
Right, I know that, yeah,
Oh, okay.
I do know that, and,
I'm sorry.
but all the revisions that we're gonna be from the code committee, that's gonna go to the town board for their approval.
We're gonna do.
What-
Got it.
If we want anything added to
Added
this or
or
changed to
changed.
this.
if you want any additions or deletions or modifications to this before it goes.
Before it goes to the
the
town
Town
board.
board, we can
Okay.
certainly weigh in.
That was
That's
my
what we're
bad.
gonna do.
That-
Yeah, I
that-
didn't realize that it was the actual code, so.
Yeah. Sorry, maybe I worded it wrong, but
No, that's okay.
the other thing that it adds in here is the project review committee too, that. So
Yeah, do you want to take that one too then?
it makes it official, correct?
So once the site
It
plan,
defines
once-
who's on it. Right? So I would say, take a look, and if there's some things that either you have questions on or you think a wording should possibly be different, just let me know and I will talk to Scott unless anybody has anything. Yeah,
You know, you're up for comment on it.
perfect. That's absolutely fine. It's okay if I get emails from everybody, right? Kevin?
As long as you're not, if it's a one-off,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fine. It just,
All it would be to me and then I take it to the code
Right.
committee.
you get the input and then provide it.
Okay,
As long as we're not, it's not an application, so.
no,
certainly-
no, it's not an app.
And it's nothing that this board has authority to do. So even if you were talking about the code revisions, I'd be less concerned about that because it's not an application. So
Okay.
you don't have the authority to make the change.
No, we don't. But Dan and his people will.
We'll go over it.
And Scott will give you a big PowerPoint to go through it.
But they're very informational.
Yeah, he
with a-
is, you know what?
The 120 slides.
I tell you what, though, I mean, kudos to Scott for chewing into this because it really.
And I mean, it's not as though he's looking at the same town codes for the same provision, like for everything. He's like picking good pieces from all over the place.
He does, and
Which is
just so you guys know, like the green, he does like these E-code searches.
Yes.
And he'll like go out like kind of globally, like big, I'm telling, and then he'll like, and then he'll narrow it into like a couple towns like that are similar to Rush, right?
Yeah,
So, yeah, he just, you know what, I give him a lot of credit because
There's a lot of good
Better get-
info.
Yeah.
I know, but it's, Dan could probably speak to, it's something that's been needed for,
Anyone that's been on any of these boards can speak to. Yeah. it's been-
you know, we don't want conflicting codes between,
And that's what we ran into a lot of.
right? So anyways, I appreciate you guys maybe taking just
Yeah. I
a
will.
quick run through on it, and that would be good.
Any update on comprehensive plan publication of,
I mentioned it to Dan Williver, that you had requested it.
Okay.
So I left it.
in him?
So
All right.
I'm glad that you would.
I heard that they might get a copy back from someone that has one. So they might look into trying to go about that.
We'll make you the keeper of
All
it.
right.
I told him,
Yeah.
I told him that there was some interest in it and that he should probably work with Karen. What the best approach in doing that. was.
Okay.
So.
Well, and I think without, you know, because we're seeing more and more things come up where we want to make sure that we're aligned with the comprehensive
Yeah.
plan. That is probably the big thing,
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
Hopefully the comprehensive plan is comprehensive.
Should be, it just got done.
Well, and there were some quotes at the zoning board meeting from the comprehensive plan as far as intent for the
Yeah.
commercial buildings and the hamlet. So yeah, there was a good
Well, and
discussion.
then there was another one that came up with respect to the Bromore.
Yes, yes.
It's on the website.
Yeah. Carl wants one that he can put his hands on and flip pages.
I have an inkjet printer. It just.
It's still going from last meeting. It's almost done. I've only replaced the ink 17 times.
Yeah, exactly.
It should print out by next week.
All right, so,
169 pages.
Oh my.
all right, is there anything else that needs to come before the board? No? Chuck Wolcott will be here probably. He's our new member. I was hoping to introduce him. I do not see him on Zoom, must be his
Connection.
connection was a fail.
Sand in the ether.
Stand in the, something like that, so.
We should adjourn the meeting.
mhm. I will.
Okay, good.
I was just,
I'm sorry.
I-
I
No,
didn't-
you're not,
I
Carl.
didn't want to necessarily have this banter before we
Oh,
were adjourned.
okay.
Sorry.
Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll second.
Okay, member Moise.
Aye.
Member Wisnowski.
Aye.
I know I'm going out of order. Deputy Chairman Ash
Aye.
and Chairperson Brown.
What if I say no?
Aye, I'll write it down.
You've been outvoted.